Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Business of Influence podcast with me, Leroy Mark. And in studio, we have someone who, when you go to their stores, you're very, very, very sure that you're going to leave with your pockets just a little bit lighter. Zain Naidoo is from Dis-Chem. Hello, Zain.
Hi, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Happy birthday.
Thank you. And to you too.
To me too. Thank you. Thank you. These guys here don't believe I have a birthday. They think I was sort of made into being overnight. Chat to me quickly, Zain, as a marketer who is in touch with how people like to spend their money, especially in their stores. What has been very surprising for you being at the conference today where we're talking about marketing as business? And it seems that this is a novel idea because usually marketing is at the back end of the office.
So I think if I talk from my perspective, I am one of those customers that shop a lot.
Yep.
So it happens to us as well. We
Mhm.
walk into a Dis-Chem store, you buy more than you need.
Yep.
And I think looking and listening to the speakers today, it just reaffirms that marketing should be at the core of the business.
Yeah.
I think people forget that marketing has such a specific drive that actually it influences what the customer buys
Yep.
in the store, but also how someone dresses,
Mm.
what you wear, what car you drive. That just doesn't happen because you woke up and decided you want a specific vehicle.
Yeah.
There's been long-term work and the brand that has been built over years, which influences your decision. And I think that's the perfect balance between the marketing and then obviously you bring in the advertising.
Yeah.
Marketing has evolved, so the channels that we use have changed. But in principle, trying to influence someone is what we're trying to achieve in a marketing perspective.
How do you do that when you've got a brand like Dis-Chem that has such a vast demographic that shops there? I mean, it's multi-generational. My grandmother shops at Dis-Chem. I shop there. My baby sister, who's 19, shops there. It is a family store.
I think the important thing is to not look at each customer and so not to put all customers under one umbrella.
Okay.
Everyone is different.
Hmm.
Everybody uses TikTok. I mean, my parents use TikTok. I use TikTok, but we use it for very different
Absolutely.
reasons. I would use it for entertainment. My nieces and nephews would use it for enjoyment. And my parents would use it for news. So
Yes.
based on who you're trying to target, I think use the platform, but make sure that your content is relevant to what you're trying to achieve.
But how do you stay relevant when you've got so much noise happening, especially because the attention share that people are looking for is very, very stressed? I mean, you are walking 40 meters. I was chatting to Nomzamo from Pride Media Outdoor, and she says we see 50 billboards driving to work. I've never noticed it.
Right. And I think I also was in a talk where they said you see more than 10,000 ads a day
Yeah.
in South Africa. I think that was yesterday. The reality is if you put yourself in the shoes of a customer, you'll understand specifically what they want. I love shopping, like I said, and I call my shopping market research because I'm putting myself in the perspective of a customer to understand what are the nuances in store and what would drive me into the shops. I myself are highly influenced. I see content specifically around Dis-Chem and I would go to store to buy the product. Or if I approve content, something that sticks out to me, I would make sure I go make a special trip just to buy and try the product.
You said something in a podcast interview I saw recently, and I wanted to sort of pick your mind about it, where you said you like the idea of informal traders interacting with digital platforms. And for me, it was so interesting because, we don't see people who are in the informal market as being part of the digital world. Just give me your thoughts on that, because I think it's such a novel idea, especially as far as informal traders are concerned.
So I spent a number of years in my career working in the informal, what we term informal in the country, and that spans across taverns and barber shops.
Yeah.
And I think what we as marketers assume is that people that are in rural areas would not have access to internet and or technology, and that's a misconception. They're active on social media. It serves a purpose in their lives. And they're very much digitally enabled. And again, if we're able to service them with what they need, with the right information at the right time, it does become impactful marketing, and not to undermine the capabilities of those around us.
Do you think it's the Achilles heel of marketers, especially where we look at what we call the formal economy, where they have categorized who they deem to be important customers or customers with value and have sort of shunted a few to the side? I think about ideas where, you speak in the same podcast around advertising as per like a region. So what do you do with getting billboards into, say, the rural areas, or a billboard that is specific for a township or for a built environment area?
encourage my team and myself to make sure that whatever work we're doing is locally relevant. So if we are opening a new store, and if I talk to my past career, we make sure that we talk in the relevant language, whether it's within South Africa or cross border. More importantly, is to make sure you know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And without generalizing, you should be able to accommodate as much as you can for that customer type in your efforts.
How's it preparing, especially in the world of fast-moving consumer goods, for a world where there's this wonderful intersectionality between social media influencers, technology, AI, and then the traditional, base? I famously say that, Dis-Chem is the store you walk in, looking to go buy a small can of cotton buds, and you leave there with vitamins, an air fryer, and whatever else. How do you work that intersectionality? Because it is, again, such a diverse place to be.
And I think to your earlier question as well, if we're clear on what the objective is, if you're working with an influencer for specific categories,
Yeah.
we'd be clear on what we're trying to achieve. And once we know that, so we know, I know as an example, as a shopper, going in for something in the beauty department, perhaps skincare, I'm more inclined to then browse the deodorant aisle. And while I'm there, I may perhaps walk through the vitamin aisle. So you stop looking at a customer in terms of what they put in the basket, but more around what lifestyle are they living. Are they somebody who is more inclined to be more considerate of their image? And if so, these are the products we would combine together from a social media content perspective to say, okay, fine, we know, for instance, you've bought specific vitamins, therefore you have an interest in collagen. Can we perhaps recommend collagen facelifting cream? Because you are into that space, it's something that you're more inclined to try.
And how do we do that with the stresses on people's income? I think it's so interesting to see how, still in this economy where, we're really severely under strain from a financial point of view, Dis-Chem is still opening up stores. Dis-Chem have not seen a to let sign at any Dis-Chem store, ever. How are you guys managing to get that matrix right?
So I think ultimately it's to make sure that we get the right products for our customers in the right stores at the right prices. And price is a very competitive metric across all industries, but even more so it's around the convenience. If you walk into a Dis-Chem, you know that you're going to get more than what you wanted initially, but you're able to get multiple options in that shop.
Absolutely.
So it becomes a worthwhile trip, because instead of just getting the cotton buds, you're now able to buy the body wash, some perfume, and perhaps go to the dispensary. And if you really need to, you can book an appointment with the nurse at a clinic. So again, it makes that trip that much more worthwhile. And yes, it may cost to get out of the house, but in that shop, you're able to achieve much more than just going to get a specific item.
And how does that translate to loyalty? I'm very interested in how Dis-Chem has been able to foster a very South African consumers are very fussy. They are turned off at the slightest thing. And yet you've been able to curate a really good, loyal base where people go for a variety of things across the demographics. How do you define loyalty, especially in the noise where there's so many options out there?
It would be unfair for me to claim the good that comes with the Dis-Chem, the loyalty of the Dis-Chem brand. I've only been there for 2 years. But if I were to look at it from a customer lens, because that's how I experienced the store before I joined the organization, it was the in-store service. So if I went into the store and if I needed something, I would get the expert advice from a consultant in whichever aisle it may be, which was then, for me, the reason why I would come back to the store. I would be able to get some sort of information that I could find online, but it was more now interpreted to my understanding. And something as simple as getting skincare advice, or perhaps someone recommending a fragrance for me. The time and effort and energy spent and the knowledge of the consultants in the store, for me, is what fosters the loyalty of customers returning to our stores.
I think also what Dis-Chem has done is being a localized brand, in that I feel like the Dis-Chem at my shopping mall is my Dis-Chem.
Yes.
And as a result, you go there because you know you're going to get personalized service, that even if the consultant doesn't know you personally, you can expect a particular level of service, particular level of interaction. And I think that's what makes it the South African brand it has become.
And if I may add to that,
yeah.
I drive to a specific store, which is not my closest.
Yeah.
But my skincare consultant is based in a specific store.
Oh, yeah.
And I trust my skincare consultant as much as I trust my pharmacist.
And your barber. Exactly.
And my barber. So
Yeah.
if I look at it from that perspective, I would be willing to drive a store out of my area, but it's because somebody I trust.
Yeah. I think in closing, for us who are in the world of marketing and trying to make this business make bank, what do you think we need to do in the next 5 years to make sure we keep ourselves relevant, but also keep the industry relevant?
I think it's easy to get distracted by the noise, as we've seen it. I mean, everyone wants to make cool adverts. Everyone wants content that stands out there. But at the core and the center is, what does your customer want?
Yeah.
what is the need they're trying to serve. And if you're able to do that, then the rest of it you can develop and enhance a bit further. But my advice is don't forget what's most important to the customer. They're coming to you for a reason. Yes, we can add. I mean, marketers are guilty of adding the fluff. Add in the fluff.
Yeah.
But make sure you address the need of what they're actually trying to solve.
Yes, and keep me coming to those aisles where I have 100 Rand to spend and I end up miraculously spending 1,000 Rand. Zain Naidoo from Dis-Chem coming through to the Business of Influence podcast. Remember, when you come back, we chat to more marketing heavyweights right here at IMC
Are you
2025.
listening? Damn.